On the night of the moon festival, a young woman disappeared. But what shocked the village most was who went into the cursed forest to bring her back. In a quiet village surrounded by tall iroko trees and endless stretches of forest, there lived a young palm wine tapper named Obasi. He was kind, hardworking, and respected by many, but he was also poor. His clothes were simple, his hut was small, and he owned little more than his tapping knife and a few clay pots. Yet despite his poverty, Obasi carried something far more valuable in his heart. He loved Adair. Adair was the daughter of Chief Ease, the most powerful man in the village. She was admired for her beauty, but even more for her gentle spirit. Unlike many others, she never mocked Obasi for his status. Whenever he passed through the market carrying palm wine on his shoulders, Adair greeted him with a smile warm enough to quiet every hardship in his life. But the chief had already chosen a wealthy hunter from another village to marry his daughter. Everyone knew Obasi could never compete. Still, love has a way of surviving where hope should have died. Every evening after sunset, Obasi carved small wooden bracelets by lantern light. He spent hours shaping each one carefully with symbols of protection and love taught to him by his late grandfather. And before dawn each morning, he quietly placed a bracelet outside Adair's window. Adair never saw who left them there. But every morning, she wore them hidden beneath her sleeves. Then came the night of the moon festival. It was the biggest celebration of the year. Drums echoed across the village square while dancers covered in white paint moved around giant fires. Children laughed as elders told stories beneath the moonlight. For one night, the village forgot its worries. Even Obasi smiled that evening because earlier that day, Adair had secretly spoken to him near the river. One day, she whispered softly, "I will wear your bracelet openly, without hiding." Those words stayed alive inside his heart. But joy does not always survive the night. As the celebration continued, the drums suddenly stopped. A scream pierced through the crowd. Women began shouting Adair's name. The chief's daughter was gone. Panic spread quickly through the village as men grabbed torches and searched every corner of the square. Mothers pulled their children close while elders whispered fearful prayers. Then someone discovered something near the forest path. One of Adair's wooden bracelets. Broken. The moment the elders saw it, fear entered their eyes. Because the forest beyond the village was forbidden after dark. People believed ancient spirits lived there. Hunters claimed strange whispers moved between the trees at night. Some said the forest could imitate voices and lure people deep into its darkness. Worst of all, those who entered the forest at night rarely returned the same. Chief Ease ordered the hunters to wait until sunrise before searching. "No one enters that forest tonight," he commanded. But Obasi could not stand still. As others trembled in fear, he stared at the broken bracelet in his hand. Adair was somewhere inside that darkness. And he knew he could not abandon her. Ignoring the warnings of the elders, Obasi grabbed a lantern, tied his carving knife to his waist, and walked toward the cursed forest alone. The villagers watched in silence. Some pitied him. Others believed they would never see him again. The moment Obasi stepped beneath the trees, the sounds of the festival disappeared behind him. The forest felt wrong. Too quiet. Cold wind moved through the branches like whispers. Shadows stretched unnaturally across the ground as his lantern flickered weakly. Still, he continued deeper. "Adair," he shouted. No answer came. Only silence. Then suddenly, he heard soft footsteps somewhere ahead. Obasi lifted his lantern higher. And there she was. Adair stood between the trees with her back facing him. Relief flooded through his body. "Adair," slowly, she turned around. Obasi's breath caught in his throat. Her eyes were completely white. Her face was pale and emotionless. She looked like someone trapped between this world and another. Obasi stepped back in fear. "Ader, what happened to you?" Then Ader spoke softly. "You should not have come here." The wind suddenly grew stronger. Branches creaked violently above them. And from the darkness behind her, something moved. Huge. Slow. Watching. Obasi tightened his grip on the lantern as fear spread through every part of his body. Then Ader whispered again, her voice trembling this time. "Run!" At that exact moment, two glowing eyes appeared behind the trees. The lantern slipped from Obasi's hand and crashed onto the ground, its flame dying instantly. Darkness swallowed the forest. Obasi grabbed Ader's hand and ran. Behind them, heavy footsteps shook the earth. Strange whispers surrounded them from every direction while trees groaned like living things. Ader cried out as shadows moved unnaturally around them. Obasi could barely breathe, but he refused to let go of her hand. They ran blindly through the darkness until suddenly Ader stumbled and collapsed near the forest entrance. Village torches appeared ahead. The search party had finally arrived. Men rushed forward and carried Ader away from the forest. But when they looked for Obasi, he was gone. Only his carving knife remained on the ground beside the trees. The villagers searched for days. Nothing was found. No footprints. No body. No trace of him. Ader survived, but she was never the same again. She stopped speaking for many months and spent most evenings staring silently toward the forest. But every moon festival night, something strange began to happen. Deep inside the forest, villagers claimed they could hear the sound of wood being carved. Slow. Careful. Patient. And sometimes, when the moonlight touched the trees just right, people swore they saw a dim lantern moving between the shadows. As if someone was still there, waiting for the girl he loved. Because true love does not always end in happiness. Sometimes, it becomes a ghost story remembered for generations. Follow for more African love stories filled with mystery and emotion.